Guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the moon, and what the moon represents is essentially two things, right? So the moon represents your emotions and your gut reactions. The moon is connected to your gut because it is one of those nocturnal planets. The nocturnal planets are the ones that are not very, you can't really connect with them intellectually, you can only feel them. So the moon and Mars are nocturnal planets, and the moon is the most nocturnal planet. So that means that it is the thing about you that you can't really very easily understand and express. The moon is better felt, okay? So keep that in mind when you watch this video. So I like to think of the moon as the kind of baby that you are, because even though the moon is not necessarily babies, the moon is more connected to mothers and motherhood. You can't really have a mother without a baby, and you can't have a baby without a mother. Chicken before the egg situation, right? So I like to name all of the signs, all of the moon signs, like the kind of baby that you are. And Gemini moon is the sassy baby. And that's what we're gonna be talking about today, Gemini moon. So first we're gonna talk about the emotional reactions, right? So the emotional reactions that Gemini moon has are really quick, right? And Gemini moon always wants to have a witty remark to whatever it is that someone tells them. Gemini is a really light-hearted sign. So it is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is a really fast planet. So moon in connection to Mercury is going to be very fast. And they're always gonna have something witty, like I said, to say back to you. They're not gonna be very easily hurt, or at least they're not going to demonstrate how easily hurt they can potentially be, depending on what house it's in. Gemini moon is, like I said, they're very lighthearted. They don't really hold grudges. Because they're not very emotional, period, but they do tend to be kind of nervous. They have a lot of nervous energy running through them because Mercury is a planet that is really fast, and it involves deciphering a lot of information and sifting through a lot of information, sifting through the environment, through environmental cues. So imagine all of that going on in your emotions. That's how Gemini moon people interact with the world. So they are very much in tune with everything that's going on around them. It's a really intuitive placement without being watery, right? So they're not gonna be this emotional intuition. They're more like pattern recognition, because they're always paying attention to everything that's going on. And they can tend to be kind of nervous. That can make them kind of nervous. And Gemini can be a little bit dramatic. And the reason they can be dramatic is because more than anything, they just want to connect with other people. So when you make a big dramatic scene, more people, more eyes are going to be on you. So that's going to allow you to connect with others. And Gemini moon can be that way. Their reactions can also be attention seeking. So they can do something just to get a reaction out of you. But it's not not in a Leo way, that it's all for show. It's more to connect. They just want to bait you so that they could talk with you, because that's ultimately what they want, is to connect with others. So now we're going to talk about their needs, right? So people with Gemini moon really need variety. They really like to be up and about. They want to have something to do all the time. So they're really going to need a variety of stimulation, a variety of activities, just basically variety all the time. They really need that, because again, Mercury is a very fast moving planet, and connected to their needs, which is their moon, it's going to make them have a lot of interests. They're gonna need to know things. They like to know information, and they like to use information to connect with others. They could be a little bit gossipy, but not in I'm not personally offended by it. They only do it to connect with other people. If you really think about, I like to think about people's motivations when they do something. And when I think about their motivation, so when I think about their moon, it's really hard for me to get mad at them for doing what they do. So whenever a Gemini goes and makes up a story, I won't feel bad, because I'll know that they were just doing it because they were trying to connect with somebody in that moment. Or if they go and they gossip a little bit, it's probably because they were just trying to connect with somebody. So that's why they like to know things, because they like to connect with others through information. They need to talk. They always need to express themselves. People with Gemini ascendants, Gemini moon, they're going to talk a lot. And this could kind of supersede other situations that are going on in their chart. So you'll notice this. The people who talk a lot, oftentimes they have a Gemini moon. They also need to be able to shake things up. They really hate monotony. Like I said, Mercury is a very changeable planet and it's kind of moody, right? So they need to be able to change their environment, change their situation based on however they feel, and they need to be free to do that. They need to be able to express themselves. You're not going to get those people to quiet down. They really need to talk. It's really important to them. And lastly, I like to talk about the things that they need in a relationship. And in a relationship, I really like to look at the sign of Libra because it's that ultimate sign of like sharing, of balance, of the Two of Cups, right? So whenever you're in a relationship, you don't necessarily want somebody who's exactly like you, but you want somebody who can help you, that can challenge you a little bit in a way that will make you grow. So in order to do that, I like to look at the opposite sign, right? The sister sign. So for Gemini, the sister sign is Sagittarius. And for Sagittarius, the message of Sagittarius is to look at the big picture, right? Whereas Gemini just looks at like the immediate environment, Sagittarius likes to look at the big picture. So Gemini can tend to get lost in the daily interactions, the daily socializing, right? And they could forget the bigger picture. So having a partner that allows you to think of the bigger picture is a really useful thing for somebody who has a Gemini moon. So with a Gemini moon, you could be so stuck in like, oh, I'm gonna go to lunch, I'm gonna go to Starbucks with my friends, oh, I'm gonna go to like a wedding on Saturday, oh, I'm gonna go, like all their little groups and social things that they like to do. They could really benefit from having a partner who maybe takes them out of their daily environment, maybe takes them traveling, or is just like a philosophical person who is going to be like, hey, like that's really cool that you have all these activities to do all the time, but let's think about the bigger picture of life. What are you doing with your life? Or what is your ultimate life goal? Things like that, like the bigger questions, like kind of Sagittarius stuff. So that's really beneficial to have in a partner for a Gemini moon. So guys, that's the video for today. I hope you liked it. If you did, give me a thumbs up and I'll see you in the next